As we approach a fourth week of the government shutdown, consumer watchdogs are warning Americans to be on guard for scams exploiting their benefits. Fraudsters never miss an opportunity to target federal employees, contractors, and benefit recipients with false claims about lost paychecks, suspended benefits, and emergency relief. So here with some tips on how to spot and avoid these scams, the owner of Pelican 3 Consulting, Paul Hugenberg. Paul, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. So in any type of emergency situation or natural disaster, we usually see these types of scams, right? Okay. Can you talk to me about just how prevalent they are and what people should watch out for?
Well, they're extremely prevalent, and anytime that there's an event like you mentioned, the folks that want to take advantage of other people certainly come out to play, and they come out to play in numbers. With the advent of AI and automated phone calling and text messaging, you see a lot of these things happening in addition to what we normally see in emails. So folks really need to be aware of the messages that they're receiving. They need to understand that in this particular case with the government shutdown, the government never calls and asks you for PIN numbers or payments over the phone. Things generally come through mail or more official channels. So it's just like every other situation where messages come in, they try to take advantage of the user, and that is awareness and a willingness to not respond by the recipient.
So the most common forms of scam attempts would be via phone, correct?
Phone or email.
Phone or email.
Yep.
You know, SNAP recipients are also the most vulnerable people at this point. What's your advice to them if they get some sort of phone call or text saying that their benefits are on hold or expired?
Well, the short answer is that the benefits expiring or being on hold is a government decision, but there will never be a phone call from the government that asks you to call, give them a PIN, escalate your benefits, apply for insurance, pay a fee to get benefits quicker than the rest of the folks. There are no situations like that. So every single one of those messages is a scam, bar none.
What are scammers looking for, and what are people giving them that could potentially hurt them in the long run?
Sure, so they're looking for personal information, and what they do with that personal information is then they will apply for benefits, or they will assume the identity of the person who gave them that information. So think of your username and a PIN you give on the phone. If I have that, I can pretend to be you. Depending on what that username and PIN gives you is what now I have access to. It's always money.
You mentioned AI.
Mm-hmm.
How are scammers starting to use AI to scam more people?
Well, it's just the velocity of the messages. So I think everybody here probably gets the text messages every day that aren't real, or the phone calls that we answer that aren't real. AI has allowed that to escalate or scale quite quickly. So the number of phone calls, the accuracy of the phone calls being made has skyrocketed.
If someone gets a text or email in any of these cases, what should they do and how can they report it?
Well, the easiest way to handle unwanted messages is to contact the legitimate company that's representing themselves. So if SNAP benefits are contacting you, you should call your local SNAP office. If you feel like your identity has been taken, then identitytheft.gov is where you would go to report it to the FTC. And if you've lost actual dollars, then obviously contact your local police department.
What if some of those offices have been shut down because the employees are furloughed? What should they do?
Well, they should expect a slower response for sure, but we still want to get that message in. And the FTC has actually come out and said they're not going to be responding to some of these complaints during the shutdown, but the shutdown will end. And we want to make sure that we don't lose track of the damage or the aggressiveness of the scammers during that time.
Are there any scams that have happened recently that kind of shocked you or that you're surprised by, never seen before?
There haven't been any of the new ones, but the scale is pretty high. I think it's pretty egregious going after SNAP benefits and government benefit recipients. But again, unfortunately, in that world, we're taking advantage of people in times when they are easiest to take advantage of.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, thank you so much again for joining me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, WFMJ Weekend Today will be right back with more local news.